Hello, hello. Today we're back again. We were here earlier to do the World Cup review, but today we're back with Arsenal. And yeah, it's weird, 23rd of December, and I'm saying we're back with Arsenal when we probably would have played a game like a couple of days ago. But yeah, we're playing West Ham. This is the West Ham preview. Before we get into it, how you doing, Karen?
Still sick, but we're here for 2 days in a not 2 days in a row, twice in one day. I think it's interesting. I'm looking forward to getting to this West Ham game because, as we all know, there's a player there that we like. Um, but we at the end of
Mm.
the day we have to get these 3 points and keep putting the pressure on this Man City team. So interesting, some interesting matchups and some interesting injury concerns from both sides. So I think it'd be interesting to talk about it. I can't wait to get into it.
Well, yeah, as you said, we need to create a gap, or try to at least create a gap above Man City. We're 5 points ahead. Um, West Ham right now are sitting in 16th, 1 point off the relegation zone. They've lost four out of their last five. They've been very poor away from home this season. Hopefully that continues. Hopefully we can um, continue that poor form away from home and for them and continue our good home form. But what are like your main things going into that? What's your summary going into the game? Like, what's your preview? Like, what do you think we need to focus on and they need to focus on to
I
get
mean,
the job done?
for us, it's quite clear. I think we have to stop them getting out. I think we have to keep the pressure on. And as we mentioned in the World Cup review, when you have someone like Declan in a team who is able to carry the ball out with such proficiency and really loves to step up in these kinds of games, you have to keep an eye on him and you have to make sure that he's marked properly. We press well, we press high because they have no Aguero as well. I don't know what their centre back situation looks like, but they're not. I think they can be pressed. I think they're. It'll be interesting to watch them see how they play because they usually go for the wide progression routes and go through and try to hit Bowen long or try to basically play Declan and then watch him make him carry the ball through the lines. He is basically everything for them, and we have to keep him quiet. If we can keep him out of the game, make sure that he's not able to run the show. I think that will be the most key thing to this game for them. In terms of what we need to do for to them, I think it's the same as usual. It's basically making sure that we we create those wide triangles, make sure Nketiah can be that central presence in the box. Uh, the wide overloads are going to be key because we've seen at times that West Ham do like to play the long balls as well. So if we can intercept them and basically get the progression out, get the progression from the second to third phase out wide and try to overload them in wide areas, we can create cutback situations, which is what Eddie will need to succeed in this game. So I'm hoping that Eddie can get on the score sheet. I think that'll be key for his confidence. I think it'll be really good for his confidence. I think we need to really, snuff out this idea that he's just not good because he's a good player. There's a reason why we played him 100K a week, and
Yeah, I do think the Eddie stuff is overblown. I always thought, what if Jesus was confirmed injured? There would be a big negative reaction. We're done. Like when we drew 0-0 because in a game that no one watched, no one knows what happened. It means we're going to finish out the top four. Same thing as when we lost our last friendly. Because of that, it means we're going to fall out the top four somehow when we're like 10 points clear. But yeah, it's very weird how fast Arsenal fans turn. I think they just me personally, I just think a lot of them are like cowards. Um, any small thing that changes immediately, it means everything's going to go to shit. Um, I'm still very confident in Eddie. Obviously, that he had a miss the other day, which wasn't an easy chance, but strikers miss and they score as well. He'll probably score more for the chances that Jesus gets than Jesus did.
yeah,
I think he's more clinical, and I think he'll score more goals individually. in the same span of games that than Jesus did. He may not offer as much off the ball and in different phases, but I think he'll definitely score more. And he did well versus West Ham last time. Uh, it was at their ground. It was a different game, but as we know, West Ham for years suffer between the space with the fullback and the centre back, and Martinelli abused it last time. Eddie will be in that space again.
Mhm.
Martinelli will be there again, so I think we can do very well versus them there. But I think West Ham leave a lot of gaps. They start very slow. They've still not won any first half this season. Um, they've scored less than 10 goals, so less than 11 goals, sorry. So they're not been that good this season. Like, I expected a lot more, um, considering what they have, considering how much they spent. They bought a new striker. Antonio's still playing well, and I expected a lot more, but still now they're not performing. That. Why do you think they're not performing that? Because I think Declan's had a good season. Declan Rice had a good season.
Yeah,
Certain players have. So why do you think it is that they've lost 4 out of their last 5
I
at the
think the
moment?
midfield dynamics are weird. The midfield dynamics are very weird. I think Paqueta and Souček in front of uh, Rice have been, let's just call a spade a spade. They've not been very good. I think Paqueta, obviously, the comps that were coming out, and I think people, especially Arsenal fans, when we heard it was a possibility we might be in for him, even though Edu denied it vehemently again and again. I think there was a calling for him, and I don't know. I don't know what he is. Is he an 8? Is he a 10? Is he a second striker? Is he a winger? I don't know what he is. And Souček, look, Souček is not someone that is going to give you the quality required in both basically both directions. He's good in the air. He's someone that will put his body about and try and do something, but he's not got the technical security on the ball, and he's too slow off the ball. So I think that's a major problem. I think obviously the fitness of both their strikers, as we've mentioned already, Antonio and Scamacca, both have been injured. Both have not really performed to the level, especially Antonio. And we know that he's one of the most physical strikers and a real test for any defender in this league. They haven't really stepped up and provided that impetus to basically hone their attack. Was 11 goals in the league this year? I think that's a major. Um, I don't know how to say it. It's a problem. It's not something that you can basically just say can fix it in the aggregate with everyone chipping in. And Bowen obviously hasn't been himself either. So there's a lot of players misfiring, a lot of players not really understanding what their roles are. I feel like they've gone to more of a 4-3-3 this season instead of the pivot they've done so well in. And I don't think it's working in terms of the players that the roles they've sort of known. I feel like Bowen is much better when you limit his touches and make sure that he's basically in the box being that sort of ball striking like guy that could provide you that final action instead of this isolation right wing where you're basically asking him to carry the ball and he's not really that. So for me, I think there's lots of players that aren't really playing in positions that you would expect them to succeed in. And I don't know what their recruitment is saying because Scamacca on paper was a very good signing, and Paqueta on paper was a very good signing, but neither of them have really panned out.
Mm. And yeah, like in the box, they've not been as strong as they were last season, especially from set pieces. As we said, they scored 12, conceded 17 in 15 games. I just think if we start fast, we win. And hopefully, with the crowd back, with us back, I think watching all the Carabao Cup games, some passes have been sluggish from the players that haven't been in the World Cup. Obviously, we expect it because they haven't played competitive football in over a month. Martinelli will be starting probably. Saka, I think, will probably start and then come off earlier than Martinelli. But going into the game, I'm pretty confident. I always am, especially with this West Ham team. Um, what's your prediction, Karen? Because for me, I think I'm going to go 2-0 because I don't expect West Ham to score a goal away from home. Uh, they've scored one in the last 4 away games, I think. So I don't expect them to score away from home. And I'm not sure we're going to get 3 or more goals just because of how like weird it's going to be for the players to play again at home, play with each other for like over a month.
Mm.
So I think yeah, 2-0 will be safe and a good performance from Eddie. What do you think?
Yeah, I've also gone 2-0. I think that that's the main. I think the goals will come from isolation in wide areas. I think, as you mentioned, the channel between the fullback and the centre back is something they've struggled with, and they don't cover defend well. Um, they need. If I was to recruit for West Ham, I the first thing I would do would be to buy a central defender that can cover, because they don't cover well, especially when their fullback is beat. They're not very good at that at all. And if you look at the players we have, a Martinelli running in between the channels, he's always dangerous, and he's always dangerous inside that left side of the box, running into cutbacks, running into space, and I just feel that we can isolate one side, and then basically overload one side and isolate the other, so we can create cutbacks, and we're so good at doing that. I could see maybe a set piece as well, because I feel like set pieces, even though West Ham are good at them, I feel like they're just everything feels a bit more vulnerable. I don't know about you, but everything feels a bit more vulnerable about them this year. They just don't have that steel, that metal. Like I remember last season when uh, that 3-2 Liverpool game happened, and you could see that like these players were looking to go toe to toe with Liverpool. I don't feel like they have that same fight. I don't think
Mm,
they really are banded under Moyes that they were last season. Last season, I think with Europe and everything, they feel they were a bit more locked in. I don't feel like they had that same passion and drive that they did last year. So yeah, I've gone 2-0 as well.
mm.
Um, well, before we do go, like, what do you make of the battles? Like, where do you see their battles? And if there is no Antonio and if there's no Skamaka, do you think Bowen starts as striker? And what do they do?
I don't know. Maybe for now it's false nine, or maybe a
Mm.
youngster, probably a youngster or something like that. Um, I just I don't know. I think maybe they try like push forward and them to come back early or something because it's a big game for us and a big game for them. I saw Moy saying this the best Arsenal side he's ever faced. So I'm gonna have. I think he's gonna try to go very strong. Try as hard as he can to go strong. Um, I think it's just weird. The injuries has been weird for them all season, and they have been
Mm.
weak. I think the key battle will be Odegaard Rice. Battle of progression. I think it was the same thing with the Emirates last season. If Odegaard is strong and is pressed, we limit their one source of progression, and their centre backs haven't been as good on the ball this season, so they won't want to move away from Rice. And if
No,
Odegaard is good on and off the ball, I think that's where the game's won really. And then obviously 1v1 out wide, get your fullback on a yellow card early, and you can do some damage there. I think out wide and Rice is where we need to focus really. Obviously set pieces because they're a big team. They will try, but they haven't done well this season compared to like the last five. But yeah, I think
but
it's the
yeah,
Rice show really.
it's the right show. Yeah, basically. And the thing is, when you look at this game and you look at where the game, like the key, like zonally, if you talk about zones and where this battle will be won, will be in the right half space by the center circle. Like that will be the key area where Odegaard will, do his second phase pick press resistance stuff and do the little tricks and get the ball through the lines to Bukayo or cross the ball to Xhaka or Martinelli. That is the area where we can really sort of dominate the zone. Um, and you need to control space in this game, because when you have Declan on the other side, if that man is allowed to carry the ball through the lines and get at your defenders, he will find options. He's very good at being able to not only carry the ball but carry the ball with purpose. So he's not just gonna stand there in the final third and just be like, okay, where am I going? Where am I going? He will find a pass and he'll go for whatever happens, or wherever he can. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Uh,
it'll be interesting.
it will. I think, yeah, the set pieces will be strong, but yeah, that's pretty much it from us. Both of us predicted 2-0. I wish it was different, so I could go above card on the table, but no, it will be after the West Ham games. We'll update you guys with the table and
Hopefully, I'm
everything.
sure that's next time we can actually have some normal energy going on. But I think everyone's. I think I'm a bit sick, and we're missing George as well. So
Yeah,
we'll be back properly probably after the West Ham game,
Tuesday
and
probably.
I do want
Yeah,
to. Yeah,
we'll be back Tuesday or Wednesday with the West Ham game, and then we're gonna have to preview the game on New Year's Eve. But yeah, thank you for watching, guys. We haven't been here for a minute, but we're back now. Football's back, Arsenal's back, and I was right about Morocco. So yeah, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we'll be back next week. Peace.
right. Peace.